Okay, today we're going to be simplifying radicals. We're going to simplify numerical radical expressions involving square roots. So the first thing I want to touch on is some vocabulary for your radical. So you have the square root symbol. We've also referred to that starting in algebra as the radical symbol. So whenever you hear them talk about radicals, you need to know that it involves a square root of some sort, okay? And then underneath the square root where you might see numbers, variables, exponents, that together is called the radicand because it's underneath the radical symbol. And just like you have exponents, you also have exponents on your radical. So this little number out here is called the index. So you may have seen a 3 or a 4 here. It's kind of like the exponent, but it's the exponent to the radical. It's telling you what root you're taking, like square root, the cubed root, the fourth root of a number. And just like your x squared, your m squared, your x's can have a coefficient, your coefficients can also apply to a radical. And you're going to know it's a coefficient because you are not going to see an addition or subtraction sign between them. They are going to be side by side implying multiplication. So you can have a coefficient with your square root symbol. Now, if you do not see an index, it is not written, our brain is trained to think that it's an invisible 1. However, with square roots, there's an exception. It is going to be an index of 2 because this is the square root symbol, square meaning 2. So if you don't see an index, it's going to be a 2, not a 1. Okay? Now, how do I simplify a radical? So this is why I taught you prime factorization, and we reviewed that in the previous lesson. It's because we're going to use that method to find the prime factors of our radicand. Okay? And we want to be able to break those down into prime factors. We're then going to group those factors, those prime factors, and group all of our variables by the index number. That's why we've got to know what this number is. And remember, if we don't see it, it is a 2. So we're going to make groups for our factors and our variables. Here's another hint. Don't see an index, use 2. And then for each group that we create, we're going to write one factor and variable outside the radical to represent each group that we have created in our radicand. So now let's look at some examples to see how we actually simplify radicals.